24 pertaining to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting.
Suo motu statement by Minister Shri S. Jaishankar.
Chairman, sir, I rise to apprise this august House of the key foreign policy engagements and initiatives taken by India since the budget session, which ended on 6 April 2023. This period witnessed several crucial high-level diplomatic engagements, including interactions by the Honorable President, Honorable Vice President Sir, and Honorable Prime Minister with foreign counterparts in India and abroad. I myself visited a number of nations, as did our Ministers of State, and we received many of our foreign colleagues here in India. And through these efforts at multiple levels, we were able to advance our national objectives and interests in a volatile and uncertain world. In terms of the diplomatic engagements of the Honorable President, she hosted the King of Cambodia from May 29 to 31 on his state visit. This marked the celebrations of the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our countries. Honorable President was the chief guest of the celebrations commemorating 150 years of the arrival of Indians in Suriname in June. She was conferred Suriname's highest distinction, the Grand Order of the Chain of the Yellow Star. Honorable President also visited Serbia in the same month. Honorable Vice President visited the United Kingdom on May 5-6 to attend the coronation ceremony of King Charles III. He interacted with various leaders, including the presidents of Germany, of Israel, and Brazil. He also met with Indian students and members of the diaspora. In June, the Honorable Vice President engaged his counterparts from Zimbabwe and Gambia in New Delhi and received the Deputy Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo. During this period, Honorable Prime Minister visited 7 countries. Bilateral visits were made to Australia, the US, Egypt, France, and the UAE. Prime Minister participated in the Quad and G7 meetings in Japan and co-chaired the 3rd FIPIC Summit in Papua New Guinea. He also hosted the Prime Minister of Nepal and the President of Sri Lanka in New Delhi. The official state visit of to the USA of Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji from June 20 to 23 was only the second by an Indian Prime Minister. He was also accorded the rare privilege of addressing the joint session of the US Congress for a second time. In Washington, D.C., Prime Minister was given a formal state welcome at the White House. As a special gesture, the US government invited nearly 8,000 members of the Indian diaspora to visit the ceremony. Prime Minister held bilateral talks with the US President on June 22nd. President Biden hosted both a state dinner and a private dinner at the White House. The Prime Minister also interacted with several CEOs of tech companies individually, as also in a roundtable that was co-chaired with President Biden. He invited them to strengthen their presence and operations in India. Prime Minister addressed young entrepreneurs and participated in a skill and innovation meeting along with First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. Chairman Sir, the key outcomes of the visit were reflected in a joint statement as follows. 1. Both sides agreed to augment technology cooperation, especially through the Initiative for Critical and Emerging Technologies, ICET, focusing on artificial intelligence, semiconductors, space, quantum, and telecom. India was included as a member in the Mineral Security Partnership, which aims to accelerate the development of sustainable global critical energy mineral supply chains. 2. Under the Defence Industrial Cooperation Roadmap, the defence industries and startups of both countries announced their intent to engage in co-production and other activities. A US company, GE Aerospace, announced that they would manufacture jet engines in India through transfer of technology to HAL light combat aircraft indigenous production. 3. Indian Space Research Organization ISRO signed the Artemis Accord with the U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration NASA for cooperation in civil exploration of outer space for peaceful purposes. NASA and ISRO announced that they would cooperate in human space flight and launch a joint effort to the International Space Station in 2024. 4. Both countries resolved 6 outstanding bilateral trade disputes in WTO. And I stress, Chairman Sir, that this is very, very extraordinary through mutually agreed solutions. They agreed to strengthen collaboration between the respective SMEs and boost innovation linkages. 5. In the semiconductor domain, 3 U.S. companies made announcements for building a semiconductor assembly and test facility in India and for training Indian engineers and workforce. This too, Chairman Sir, is a very important step. It will take forward the semiconductor mission that the Prime Minister is so deeply committed to. 6. In the telecommunication sector, both sides agreed to collaborate towards a bilateral trusted network, trusted sources framework, enable participation of Indian companies in the U.S. RIP and Replace program, and undertake and reciprocal pilot projects. India and USA also agreed to accelerate cooperation in green hydrogen and other emerging technologies. 7. To deepen the people-to-people ties, which are anchored in a 4.4 million Indian diaspora, the U.S. announced its decision to open 2 new consulates in Bengaluru and Ahmedabad. This, sir, will have a big impact in easing up the issue of visas, which is a concern which is shared by many members of the House. India will take steps to operationalize its own consulate in Seattle later this year and identify locations for 2 more new consulates in the USA. 7. Both countries agreed to further strengthen higher education partnerships. After the official state visit, the U.S. government has also returned to the Government of India 105 cultural antiquities that were illegally trafficked from the country. 9. Given the shared vision of a free, inclusive, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific, both countries agreed to commence an Indo-Ocean dialogue, and USA announced that it would join the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative that was announced by India in 2019. And 10. India and USA will work together for the development of digital public infrastructure and strengthen multilateral development banks to address global challenges. Sir, honorable members would be interested to know that Prime Minister led the 9th International Day of Yoga on 21 June at the UN headquarters in New York, which was on 31 leaders the outreach session of the G7 summit on 20 May 2023, he held interactions with the presidents of Indonesia, South Korea, France, Ukraine, and Brazil, the presidents of the EU Commission and the European Council, prime ministers of Japan, Vietnam, UK, Cook Islands, Chancellor of Germany, and the US. Chairman, sir, Prime Minister made his landmark visit to Australia thereafter, holding a bilateral meeting with his Australian counterpart on May 24. Signing a migration and mobility partnership agreement was one of the highlights of the visit, signifying our commitment to support students and explore the global workforce. During his stay, Prime Minister interacted with prominent public figures, participated in a business roundtable with Australian CEOs, and addressed the Indian community in Sydney. He joined his Australian counterparts to lay the foundation of the Little India Gateway at Harris Park, Sydney. Prime Minister also announced our intention to establish a new consulate in Brisbane, which will definitely help NRIs in Australia. Chairman, sir, from July 13-14, 2023, Honorable PM visited France at the invitation of the President. He was the guest of honor at the Bastille Day parade, where a tri-services Indian Armed Forces contingent participated in the parade. This included soldiers of the Punjab regiment that had defended Paris 107 years ago in World War I. In a rare honor, Chairman, sir, Prime Minister was also conferred the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor, which is France's highest civilian award. And this, Chairman, sir, I think should be a matter of pride for all Indians. He held meetings with the President as well as the French Prime Minister and Presidents of the Senate and the National Assembly. Prime Minister Secretary interacted with the Indian diaspora, CEOs of Indian and French companies, and prominent French personalities. He announced the setting up of an Indian consulate in Marseille. India and France released a vision document, Horizon 2047, 25th anniversary of India-France strategic partnership towards a century of India-France relations. Sir, on his way back, Prime Minister visited the United Arab Emirates on July 15. In Abu Dhabi, he held talks with the President of the UAE. The visit resulted in concluding agreements on trade settlements and national currencies and interlinking of payments of central banks. An MOU was signed for the establishment of an IIT Delhi campus in Abu Dhabi. This too, sir, is part of our initiative of taking Indian universities out of India. Prime Minister received the President designate of COP20. A month before, Prime Minister paid a state visit to Egypt on 24-25 June. It was the first bilateral visit by an Indian PM to Egypt in 26 years. On June 25, Prime Minister held talks with the President of Egypt and signed an agreement to elevate our ties to strategic partnership. Agreements were signed in the fields of agriculture, protection and preservation of groundwater on archaeological sites, and competition. Additionally, direct flights between Delhi-Cairo sector and setting up of a center of excellence of IT in Cairo were announced. In a special ceremony, Prime Minister was conferred with the Order of Merit, the highest state honor of. Another notable development in this period was India's co-hosting of the third summit of the Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands, FIPIC, jointly with Papua New Guinea on 22nd at Port Moresby. Prime Minister was received with exceptional warmth and courtesy by Pacific leaders, starting with his arrival, and for all honorable members had an opportunity to see that arrival for themselves on the television screen. He was conferred the Grand Order of Grand Companion of the Order of Logohu by the Governor General of Papua New Guinea, the Companion of the Order of Fiji by the Prime Minister of Fiji, which are the highest civilian awards of the two nations. was also presented with abacus, a symbol of leadership and wisdom, by the President of Sarawak. The main outcomes of the cricket summit were: 1. Launch of Sustainable Coastal and Ocean Research Institute story housed in Suva, Fiji. 2. Launch of the data warehouse for empowering Pacific Islands, JPEG, which hosts geospatial data and has been developed by ISRO. 3. Prime Minister announced an action plan to strengthen India-Pacific Island partnership. This included a 100-bed regional super specialty hospital in Fiji, setting up of regional IT and cyber security training hub in Papua New Guinea, Sagar Amrit scholarships, Jaipur food camps, SME development projects, solarization project for government buildings, desalination units for drinking water, supply of sea ambulances, setting up of dialysis units, creation of 24/7 emergency helplines, setting up of Jan Aushadhi Kendra abroad, and to make cost-effective and efficient pharmaceuticals available, and setting up of yoga. For the first time since joining the organization as a full member state, sir, Honorable Prime Minister hosted the SCO Summit, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, of heads of state in a virtual format on 4th July. The summit adopted the New Delhi Declaration and 2 joint statements on countering radicalization and cooperation in digital transformation. During the course of India's presidency, we successfully hosted 15 ministerial meetings, over 130 regular institutional meetings, and social cultural events with a key focus on secure, which is security, economic development, connectivity, unity, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, and environmental. Chairman, sir. Chairman, sir, as part of the Neighborhood First policy, engagements with immediate neighbors have been prioritized over the last decade. 2 prominent visits that honorable members should note are those of the Prime Minister of Nepal and the President of Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister of Nepal paid an official visit to India from May 31 to 3 June. After bilateral talks, the 2 Prime Ministers participated in virtual groundbreaking ceremonies of 6 projects, including integrated checkpoints, railway lines, petroleum pipeline facilities, and transmission lines. The leaders witnessed the handing over of the Kurta-Bijalpur section of the railway line. Understandings reached included that on electricity imports from Nepal, as well as allowing export of Nepal's electricity to Bangladesh using the Indian grid. India also committed to expand cross-border petroleum pipeline infrastructure. Chairman, sir, the President of Sri Lanka paid an official visit to India on 21 July 2023, his first in his capacity as President. Prime Minister and President have conducted discussions and agreed on a vision document to promote connectivity and catalyze prosperity. This covered multiple facets including maritime, air, energy and power, trade, economic and financial, as well as people-to-people connectivity. Agreements were concluded on development projects in Trincomalee district, on animal husbandry and dairy, on renewable energy, and on UPI interface. Prime Minister discussed the issues related to the Tamil community in Sri Lanka and reiterated the need to fulfill their aspirations. He underlined the importance of implementing the 13th Amendment and conducting provincial council elections. Prime Minister also took up the issue of Indian fishermen and requested Sri Lankan side to approach it on a humanitarian basis. Allow me, sir, to briefly turn to the subject of G20. During our presidency, we have been able to focus attention on the most pressing challenges of humanity, especially faced by developing countries. This includes Mission Life for empowering climate-friendly lifestyles and popularization of millets to address the challenge of food security. We have also advocated an inclusive human-centric approach to climate action and development, as well as use of technology to transform the lives of people. Since April 6, we have hosted the G20 Development Ministers meeting in Varanasi, the Agriculture Ministers meeting in Hyderabad, the Tourism Ministers meeting in Goa, the Education Ministers meeting in Pune, the Finance and Central Bank Governors meeting in Bangalore, Labour and Employment Ministers meeting in Indore, Energy Ministers meeting in Goa, Environment and Climate Sustainability Ministers meeting in Chennai, and the Ministerial meeting on Women's Empowerment in Bangalore. As envisaged, we are realizing our intent to make India's presidency a truly national endeavour and showcase India to the world. I would also like to share with the House that the ministers of MEA have been equally active during this period. My official visits to Uganda, Ethiopia, Mozambique, South Africa, Namibia and Tanzania in Africa, to Guyana, Panama, Colombia and Dominican Republic in Latin America, apart from visiting Bangladesh, Sweden and Belgium. The visit to Latin America included co-chairing the India CARICOM and India-SICA ministerial meetings. Many of these visits were the first step. I also visited Indonesia for the Foreign Ministers meeting under the ASEAN-India format, East Asia Summit and ASEAN Regional Forum. This saw participation in the second India-Australia-Indonesia trilateral. After Jakarta, I traveled to Thailand to co-chair the 12th Foreign Ministers meeting of the Mekong-Ganga Cooperation Mechanism as also attending the BIMSTEC retreat. In Sweden, I participated in the second EU Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum and the inaugural session of the India-Europe-US Trilateral Forum. Along with my esteemed colleagues, the Commerce and Industry Minister and the Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, we attended the first ministerial meeting of the India-EU Trade and Technology Council in Brussels. In South Africa, I had an opportunity to take part in the BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting and the Friends of BRICS meeting. In the same period, I have had the privilege to host my counterparts from the Republic of Korea, Israel, Philippines, Maldives and Japan, apart from the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia. I am chairing the Asia Council of Foreign Ministers in Goa and the G20 Development Ministers meeting in Varanasi. Our Ministers of State also actively engaged in promoting India's interests. Sri Muralidharanji oversaw Operation Kaveri from Jeddah in April and paid official visits to Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Brunei Darussalam, Malaysia, Maldives and Syria. Srimati Meenakshi Lekiji visited Croatia, Slovenia and Northern Macedonia. Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh ji visited Singapore and Fiji. During our interlocutions, we noticed a growing interest among our partners and business leaders to be part of India's growth story and engage in development partnerships. India's undertaking of greater responsibilities was widely welcomed and our views on key global issues taken seriously. We aim to realize the Prime Minister's vision to make India a leader in democratizing technology, a trusted geography and an important part of our global supply. In our travels abroad, I am glad to report, sir, that we are now seen as a credible and effective development partner. Our development partnership portfolio now spans 78 countries and hallmarks of this project is demand-driven, transparent, empowerment-oriented, environment-friendly and relying on a consultative approach. We have also been spearheading the promotion of digital public infrastructure and sharing best practices in digital governance, especially in the global south. Indian nationals were brought to Port Sudan from different conflict zones and then ferried to Jeddah using our Air Force aircraft and naval ships during Operation Kaveri, like Operation Ganga. We not only evacuated thousands of citizens but helped people from many other countries. 4,075 Indian nationals were safely evacuated. Our diplomats and our armed forces displayed exemplary courage during this period. And I must mention, sir, to the House, many movements took place amidst firing and one particular aircraft landing was particularly challenging. So I would like to underline that we have proven once again that India will never leave its people behind during a crisis, be it in Ukraine or in Syria. We have also made consistent efforts to secure the release of our fishermen and civilians 74 have been returned from Sri Lanka and 398 from Pakistan. Sir, in conclusion, let me say that at a time when international relations have become unprecedented and complex, our people-centric foreign policy, which is guided by the demands and aspirations of our society, has shown that India speaks as a voice of peace, of security and prosperity for all, while serving as a force of global good and stability. We have also vigorously defended our national interests. In 2022, at the beginning of Amrit Kal, India assumed the landmark G20 presidency. We will host the summit this September. Our presidency has invigorated our foreign policy and given more force to realize the Prime Minister's vision of an Atmanirbhar and Viksit Bharat that regains its rightful place in the world.